out, guys. It's hot.
Yeah.
I'm pitting out.
Hey, don't get too gross, or I'll turn my monitor so you can see my fan spinning on the ceiling.
Fantastic, and we're live. We went live.
What?
We went live on, and I'm pitting out. So,
Oh man.
Hey, Jeff McKinney.
Hi, Jeff McKinney. Hey, Cody. Good to see you. I kind of need to get on the whole fantasy football thing, huh? There's this part of me that's like,
I'm not really jazzed for it. I'm not of all that stuff.
I'm honestly not in a rush. And there's this part of me that doesn't want the NFL to have a season this year. I love football, but like I'm just kind of like, bleh. So I don't know. Cody's gonna tell me to snap out of it. He's like, hey. I'll set something up. I don't know if it's going to make a big deal out of it this year. All of a sudden, he's not going to listen to the show anymore. That's what's going to happen. When does the season start? I'm fucked.
September 10th.
Oh, is it 10th or is it the 5th or 3rd? Thursday.
3rd is Monday, I think.
No, 3rd is September 1st is Tuesday. Labor Day is the 31st of August.
Labor Day, 31st of August?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Huh?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
What?
That can't. Somebody fact check John on that.
Yeah, man.
I pull up my freaking Google Calendar and tell you that.
Wrong time of year, man. Labor Day is in the spring, bro.
Oh, it is. Labor Day is the 7th. That's weird. That's super late. That's wrong. It should be against the law.
It's the first Monday of September, right?
Cody says, "What are you talking about? It's Wednesday. You don't even know where you are anymore.
I don't.
What are you running for president?"
Good one, Cody.
Cody says a couple things. He says that John is wrong and that also the season starts on the 10th of September. I'll put some together. I will.
Okay. Just make sure there's an auto drafter. And what do we do? Like I guess it's just your SOL if a player you draft decides to say I'm not going to play.
At this point, it's after like the guaranteed like opt out date.
That's past. I thought that was like 2 Tuesdays ago or something like that.
Okay. Hi, Kristen. Good to see you.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. I mean, things are going to happen. People are going to get COVID, especially in the NFL. They've got no protocol right now. And then there's the question of like, Ezekiel Elliott got COVID like 5 months ago, asymptomatic. Does that make him like more valuable, or are we wondering if there might be like some long-term issues that he just doesn't realize because he hasn't been doing like a full head of steam like playing NFL games? Like, I don't know. Who knows?
When's the SEC get started?
I don't know. Any college that's participating in football this year, like if you go to that school, get your money back. Go somewhere else.
So I don't know.
They don't listen. They don't listen to
see what
the smart folks.
Like I think the Big Ten and I think the Pac-10 were kind of assuming that all the other leagues were going to bow out after they did.
Yeah, but no, SEC and I think the ACC is still going.
Yeah, I know Oklahoma lost like 8 players to COVID. Not lost, but they got the COVID. So I don't know if the Big 12 has changed their mind yet. But I know there's
Kristen's like, are we watching the right show? Kristen, it's Tuesday. This is our football podcast.
All right.
Okay, we should start.
Okay. So any stories look interesting to you guys?
We're not going to talk. Well, what's COVID holes?
COVID holes. I mean, that's in Italy during the last plague. There's these little windows that businesses had.
Okay.
Some of them are still there, and so they were to hand food and wine out through the wall. So they're reusing them again.
I think we should talk about the state orange of New York.
The AB. Oh no, what? Utah? You mean?
Yeah.
Not New York.
It's kind of like being the state orange of New York.
Okay. All right, we can talk about that one, and then
We can talk about two.
yeah. Well, we're totally gonna have time for it. We can talk about the Jeff M question, adding salt to your wine. All right, I'll put those in. All right, you guys ready for this? Whatever the hell this is going to be.
We do this occasionally. Yeah.
So I'll get into it once we get started. All right, am I recording? I am recording. All right, here we go. Nope, hold on. I got to fix something. All right, we'll cancel the football show tonight just for Kristen. Here we go.
Hi guys, my name is Christy Norman. I'm a som at Spago Beverly Hills. I have a line of som apparel. I'm coming out with a wine course for beginners online. And this is the We Like Drinking podcast where you never drink alone.
At the sound of the tone, the official We Like Drinking time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
This week on episode 291 of the We Like Drinking podcast, we'll be discussing Tavern Q's, our A's, Twitter Q's, our A's, and no guest, no problem for this panel. So crack open that beer, uncork that wine, pour that spirit over ice, and let's get drinking! Oh goodness, folks! I got a feeling about this episode. This one could be a doozy. We got all political and football-y before the show started, so everybody's riled up, or actually may half be asleep. I don't know. Feelings were weird before the show got started. I don't know what was going on. But fun fact for the show, guys.
Fun fact.
A lot of time, when this whole COVID thing kind of was kicking off, we started talking about it amongst the panel, and we're like, we should really try to bring, what can we do? Let's try to bring value to our listeners. Let's go full bore with guests for as long as we can to really get shows out to people that they find interesting and will enjoy. You guys have any idea when the last time we did not have a guest on the show and it was not a specific drinking episode?
Last time, it was, I'm going to say February 29th.
John, you don't have to get that specific. Month is good.
Month is good. I'm thinking it was sometime in April.
It was April 22nd was the last time. It was just the three of us, and it wasn't like a drinking episode or something like that. So you know what happens on these shows, folks?
What? Wait a minute. I've got a question. What do you mean it wasn't a drinking episode? What the fuck have I been doing for the last 5.5 years?
Our monthly drinking episodes where we highlight,
where we do something different.
Yeah.
Than drinking. We drink.
We try and educate folks.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's part of our shtick, teaching people things.
Yeah, that's part of the great lie. We try to convince people. So what do I say here? Cheers, my podcast drinking friends, and welcome to Happy Hour 291 of your favorite award-winning topical beer and wine education podcast focusing on fun. We have a lot of it tonight. Make sure you never miss another episode of our brand of drinking fun by visiting welikedrinking.com/subscribe.
Subscribe.
Get on your bike, Pee Wee, and ride around the block.
You better be drinking tequila tonight, Jeff. So let's find out who we're drinking with. We're joined by our usual panel members. We have our California Sustainable Wine Growing Ambassador, and maybe pulled as a volunteer firefighter, Jeff Solomon.
I know you are, but what am I?
We have our commercial brewer and snake wrangler, John Ruyak.
Good evening.
I'm your host and certified specialist of wine, Jeff Eccles. Like I said, we don't have a guest on tonight. So let's get right to it. What are we drinking? John, I think I saw you with a beer, but I haven't seen Jeff put anything up to those.
Well, he poured something. I saw him pour it.
Let's see what Jeff Solomon's drinking.
I want to go back in the way, way, way back machine.
Excellent.
Back 3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Operation Ivy, Green Day, Rancid, AFI, Screw 32, The Willies featuring a 16-year-old Jeff Solomon. What do all those punk bands have in common?
I don't know.
They all got their start at the iconic music venue at 924 Gilman Street in Berkeley. Well, guess what? Right next door to that venue, which I don't even know if they do shows anymore. I hope they do. It was always like you buy a membership once a year for $10 and then every show was $5. Like it was awesome. Right next door at 912 Gilman Street is a brewery called Gilman Brewing. It's a nice like warehouse district. They're gentrifying the place now, which, you know, we've got a lot of issues surrounding that, but at least breweries move in. And what they are doing at Gilman Brewing is what many breweries are doing all over the country. This is their version of the Weathered Souls Black is Beautiful 10% Imperial Stout. All proceeds from this one, the whole idea behind Black is Beautiful, the tagline is brewed to support justice and equality for people of color. Each one of the breweries that does this, they're all sharing the same recipe. Some folks have slightly different takes on it, but each brewery is donating all proceeds to social justice causes. This one is raising money for the Anti-Police Terror Project and the NAACP. So I'm stoked to try this out right now. I got a little bit on my fingers and I just put a little dab on my tongue as we were getting started. And it was just straight up. I remember this is supposed to be a dry imperial stout, very like smoky and chocolatey, just from that little hint. Then again, there's like 4 gigantic wildfires like happening all in this neck of the woods, so it could just be my mouth is tasting things that are smoky in general. But I mean, the color on this certainly is beautiful, and just this thick tan head on the top of it. Yeah, it's got that really like Guinness dry stout type of nose to it, and then on the palate, I know it's supposed to be like dry, but there sure is some booziness. There is some residual sugar on the front end, but it really does finish dry and clean. This is as imperial stouts go, this is a hop bomb on the finish. And aside from like these chocolatey, smoky vapors that are there, it's just a long hoppy finish. Like it's almost like an overly hopped, like I get this when I do like the Sierra Nevada Torpedo. It's almost like too hoppy for what it's meant to be. At least that's my take on it. But it's these really like sharp attacking hops down like the center of your palate. I actually wish it wasn't as dry as it was. Like I wish it was a little bit more rich. That being said, I got this unknowingly when I first picked it up. This is actually a mixed 4-pack of Black is Beautiful stouts that I got.
Really?
I was at a tap house and they just had stacks of it, and so it's you just get a stack, and they've got different versions that were like stuck into it. So
cool.
yeah, I'm super happy to see what some of those other versions are like. I do think I wish it wasn't as dry and as sharp as it is, but I'll tell you what, I'm so happy to support the cause by drinking beer. That's the easiest thing you can do.
So let me
a little bit more thick.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
So a couple things. Getting a beer at 10% to be dry is not easy to do.
Yeah.
Because you got to because the yeast can only do so much. So I think now I saw a recipe, and I've done this when I did the Imperial Stout in Costa Rica. You do your primary fermentation with 05, a Chico strain, and then you finish with champagne yeast. So that's I only saw an ingredient list. I'm not sure if I went far enough down to see what they were doing with the yeast, because I was looking at a homebrew level recipe, and the homebrew level recipe, and I'm guessing they got it from the original brewery. They use all Cascade hops, and when you use all Cascade hops, they have kind of a high cohumulone component in them.
Cumulonimbus. Those are the clouds that happen when there's wildfires everywhere.
There you go. Cohumulone. It tends to be pretty direct with that hoppy taste that you were talking about. It's that stab you in the tongue type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess my overall question was, is there any indication as to what version you had in that can, or does it just say 1, 2, 3, 4, or is it labeled slightly different, or what?
Oh no, it's literally just based on like this, all the cover art is the same and the Weathered Souls side is the same. The version that you get is what I mean is like, so this is the one that I got from Gilman Brewing.
But the other were just
different brewers.
Breweries.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I get it now. Okay, very cool. Cool.
Yeah.
John, what's in your glass?
I posted this on the tavern where I went to Smith's, and they had Voodoo Ranger 12 packs on sale for $12.99, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I got the last 12 pack of it.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, and it was way back in the back. I had to add, get in there and reach for it. I'm like, I can't pass up $13 for 12 Voodoo Rangers. So it's not the Imperial IPA or the double IPA. It's a straight up Voodoo Ranger, but this is a solid.
It is a
beer.
solid IPA. I mean,
It's you didn't get the hazy, juicy Voodoo where like the Ranger has orange slices hovering over his eyes.
No, right, no. Or John Lennon specs. Yeah, no, I didn't get that.
All right. Before every show, you take a trip down to the cellar, and just I was walking through the cellar today, and I looked to my left and I saw this. I have no idea where this bottle came from. This is the Castalupa. This is a Trebbiano d'Abruzza. This is the Illuminati. So, I mean, it's the Illuminati. So, really, who the fuck knows how it got in there?
Hova.
Someone broke into your house and left the bottle.
Yeah. There's a triangle eye, all that stuff. So this is a blend. This is
Jeffrey Eccles did not kill that bottle.
There's some, this the Multiplatina, the Bruza. This is the counterpart to that. This is a blend. It is 70% Trebbiano d'Abruzzo. Solomon.
The multiple Bruzo. I'm like, let me just get through this. The motion producer, do you believe it?
What?
Pudding pops.
That's 15% something else and 15% something else. Fuck it, I don't care. Because really, it's a little bit old. This is a 2016, I think. Let me check. Yeah, 2016. It's pretty weak. There's
You think it lost some oomph? I mean, what you say weak?
it really should. Just about anything should last 5 years. There's definitely some whites that will fall off really, really quickly. This one's got some Chardonnay in it. This one really should last. It's got some good acidity to it, but really the flavor it falls off almost immediately. It's just acidity.
And if the Illuminati's behind it, do you really know what year it's actually from?
No. And who knows? There's probably monitoring of me happening now.
I just watched you swallow a microchip.
Probably.
When you bought it, did somebody go, dude, check out what happens when you fold the label this way?
As I said, no clue where this bottle of wine came from. Like
if you peel the label off and rub it with some lemon juice, you might find a treasure map.
I may. You're right. It could start a whole new WLD adventure. I go through my cellar quite often, and I saw this one today. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? That's never been in my library before. So, there's definitely some shenanigans going on with this stuff getting in my cellar.
You're gonna get a call from like somebody who's like, I sent that sample to you 3 weeks ago.
You're supposed to give me good airplay for it or nothing at all. If so, I apologize.
Sorry.
I don't follow rules well.
By the way, if I do finish this stout, I just have a sparkling water because
we got
it's 10%. What am I gonna?
All right. Is anybody in the chat drinking anything fun, Solomon?
There's people in the chat. There's our good buddy Cody and Kristen. Chelsea is there. Lori is there, probably drinking some Cab Franc. It's a party tonight.
Nice. Some Dracaena wines going down. I really, 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 really wish I had some Dracaena wines, Cab Franc or rosé.
I wish I had some rosé in front of me right now. That would be awesome.
Illuminati.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We've done enough of the getting to know you stuff. Solomon is ready, so let's get to it.
Wine, beer, spirit, or pop culture reference. This is where I am going to give a term to our panel and to our lovely viewers watching live, as you ought to do every Wednesday at welikedrinking.com/show. When I give this term, please go ahead and those watching live, drop it in the chat. Those wonderful folks that are downloading every week, you just yell really loud inside your car. We'll hear you totally. But this panel is going to give those answers too, to let us know if there's a wine term, beer term, a spirit term, or some sort of pop culture reference. The term this week is CZU August Lightning. Is CZU August Lightning a wine term, a beer term, a spirit term, or some sort of pop culture reference? John Ruyak.
First of all, the booklet that you wrote it down, can we see it? I don't want to see the word. I don't want to see where you got it.
You know, it's just like my wife just has random notebooks all over the house.
I was going to say, it looked like the instruction manual to your microwave. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's my little black book. There's like a lot of numbers in the back from the olden days.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
the librarian needs me to call her back and talk about how I haven't returned The Wizard of Oz yet. That's in there.
There's absolutely no
Thank-
flow to this
excellent.
episode at all.
Mr. Solomon, can you do us all a favor and spell that term for us, please?
C Z U, new word, August, new word, lightning. August is spelled AUGUST, and lightning is spelled LIGHTNING.
So just let me ask a question. Do you know if it's pronounced August or August?
I just read it. I would pronounce it August.
All right. You know,
If it were German, I might say August.
I'm trying to find something humorous to say, but I just don't have it in me tonight at this particular moment. I'm going to think this is a beer term. This is a hop from the Czech Republic, and it's something new. Czech Union, August Lightning. You know, it's an early harvest hop.
John Ruyak says that this is a Czechoslovakian hop, which I believe would be a beer term.
That would be a beer term, yes.
And it brings the thunder.
Oh God. So Jeff Eccles, what do you think CZU August Lightning is?
CZU, is that a word or is that three?
It's three. I see how you typed it out.
Yeah.
It's three uppercase letters, CZU.
Okay. That's what I'm assuming. I'm going to have to say that this is a pop culture reference. Regrettably, that this is a pop culture reference, and that this is the crazy lightning storms that are plaguing the state of California right now, along with fire tornadoes. Do they throw out sharks or anything like that? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm guessing that this is some kind of term related to the crazy lightning that's going on, that's basically put California on fire.
Jeff Eccles says it has something to do with the lightning that was happening this last week that has started all these fires in California. And he's calling this a pop culture reference. Interesting. Okay. All right. I do see, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong because it went by real quick. I do see that I think Chelsea was saying in the chat that this was actually, well, let me scroll up.
Yeah, you can do that.
Fast. Okay. Chelsea says it's some sort of old Chinese proverb about walking sideways through an airport turnstile. I see that Lori is saying it's pop culture, and she's also saying it's about the lightning storms that are causing these fires. CZU August Lightning. Well, my goodness, it's August and there was lightning, huh? The CZU August Lightning complex is the name of the multiple fires that have essentially come together. It's one of the bigger fires in the Bay Area right now, and it's happening in the Santa Cruz Mountains, really ripping through the San Lorenzo Valley, which is where I grew up. So it's, man, fucking sad to see like friends that I grew up with that are like evacuating right now, and seeing images of like my hometown getting burnt. It's fucking awful. Mm-hmm. So it's a pop culture reference. You're right, Jeff.
Like you don't have to make...
CZU August Lightning.
Yeah, and stay safe to everybody that's out there. I know our good friend Amber, who's been on the show, she was evacuated from her home today, so she's safely in Oakland, I believe. So hopefully her house remains safe, and everybody else that's caught up in this.
I want to. We should reach out to Annie Wolf Pouch of Brew Cruise, because I know that she lives in that general area, and we're thinking of you. We're thinking of everybody right now. So stay safe, everyone. And don't fucking go outside unless you need to. Like, I went outside for a minute to take out the trash, and I just feel filthy.
And if you do go outside, wear a mask.
Yeah. Maybe now.
Maybe now you can. Okay, so we normally at this point we would jump into the booze news and let that begin. We're not going to officially jump into booze news, but this is all kind of going to be we're just going to talk about a lot of shit tonight. John is now peeping through 2 beer bottles.
I don't talk shit, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna talk mad skills. We're gonna drop mad rhymes. Is that what's gonna happen now, Solomon?
I've never rapped in my life.
So I put out to the Facebook tavern today. I said, hey, we don't have a guest tonight. If you want to drop us a question, something to talk about, hit us up. Ryan H always obliges when we ask those kind of things. So Ryan asks, do you agree with the most recent Wall Street Journal article that states that men should only drink 1 drink per day? Why not? So well-phrased question. So if you haven't seen this article, the federal government, the Food and Drug Administration, whoever does it come out with this, they come out with every 5 years, they come out with a new study that lays out the guidelines for nutrition and whatnot. The one that is about finalized and get ready to come out for 2020 to 2025 is going to state that men show no more powerful ability to handle alcohol. They're no more efficient at handling alcohol. Therefore, their consumption patterns should be in line with the ladies and should be at no more than 1 drink per day. And so Ryan wants to know why that's a terrible idea. So there, there's some science that goes into it. There's some really technical studies that Jeff Solomon would probably love. I really couldn't get through it. But what do you guys think? Should we limit to just 1 drink per day? Jeff Solomon. I'm on my second glass, by the way.
Look, should you be limiting your consumption to 1 drink a day? Sure, I think that's generous. Like here's the thing that life, and one of the reasons why I love biology is, like, of all these sciences, like, you've got, in physics, you're really dealing with a lot of like absolutes, and same thing with chemistry too. Like, if something doesn't go the way that you expected with chemistry, it's because you didn't account for a certain variable. And then so as you get into biology, there is no hard and fast rule. If you want this, do this, right? And that's one of the things that I love about biology, that we're taking all these things that we do know and the best way that we know these things, and we're using them and applying them in what we expect to see in the future. The problem is there's so much more that goes into that stuff, right? Like I even think about just like food recommendations in general, right? Like when people are talking about the Mediterranean diet and talking about how, oh, these diets that are high in olive oils are actually good for your heart, that take nothing else into account except for the fact that, you're dealing with a much more like homogenous group of folks that have not just similar eating patterns, but similar like lifestyle patterns too. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And so I think it's really difficult in general, and it's probably kind of dangerous for any health expert to ever give you a recommendation, literally, and I'm going to say this, to say that any amount of alcohol is good for you, because alcohol itself is a toxin. It's a toxin that your body has to break down, right? And certainly there are limits of alcohol that our bodies can processed efficiently, but that can also vary from one person to the next. And even with one person, there's all these other things that are changing too, in terms of their lifestyle choices, their age, their environment, their exposure to things. In general, I think what we can really look at is, for any study that is telling you that alcohol is good for your heart, you're also going to find studies that say that alcohol increases your risk of cancer. And so, and then of course we can talk about, while you're impaired, what happens to your risk of getting into accidents. Long story short, what I'm saying to you is this. Do I agree with somebody's opinion on how much alcohol I should be consuming? I don't really think anybody is going to be able to say exactly what is right for me. I don't even think I could tell you what is the exact right thing for me, because my story hasn't been written yet, right? I would just say that I don't necessarily think, and I think we get into a really weird space when we start to assign like some sort of like quantifiable health value to anything that you're putting into your body, because it's just not that cut and dry. So take that, Ryan Hannigan. You don't know what I think.
You just told us.
John, I'm sure you have some thoughts on this. I saw you run to your library.
I did.
Real quick.
We had Mark Forsyth on our show. Oh, gee whiz, this almost
Sometime
2 years ago now, right?
It's been a while.
And he sent us this wonderful book, A Short History of Drunkenness, where
like drinking.com / affiliates to purchase said book, which is
get us some coin, or just listen to John's story. Then you don't have to buy it.
There you go.
But who's gonna listen to John? Come on.
Yeah, no one actually. This is one of the best books I've read in a long, and it's
really good.
Short. I mean, you could just thumb through this in an afternoon if it's just like a really stormy day. Just like, whoop, okay, I'm done. And it's cool. And I'm going to touch on a couple of things. As primates, we developed the size of the liver that we have based on the fact that as primates, I think he posits that it's been established that as primates, we developed the liver that we have because we ate a lot of fermented fruit that fell on the ground. Falls on the ground, rots, tastes good. You know, our primordial ancestors got a buzz off of it, and we developed this thing, whether it was for good or for ill. Don't know, but it could be that, you know, we just developed it because as a precaution against our proclivity to eating fruit that falls on the ground and rots for several days.
And all the ones, sorry to jump in, but as the biology teacher, I mean, all the ones that in the population that had smaller livers, they couldn't handle those grapes, and they just walked into windows and died. Sure.
So be that as it may, and I've got, you know, another story. I mean, I've got 2 hummingbird feeders, right? And the one hummingbird feeder sits in the sun all freaking day, right? And in the morning time, they're freaking fighting. I'm like, what's going on? There's like 5 or 6 of them just going at each other. Like, and you know, I change it pretty often, and I smell it to see if it doesn't smell like vinegar, but I really don't get an alcohol smell. But I wonder. I mean, these things weigh what, 15 grams or something like that. So who knows?
Would you look out your window one day when you hear a bar stool sliding?
You know, the hummingbird pulls one of my lawn chairs over to the feeder, just sits down and just drinks it all day, right? But I mean, they're super aggressive, but hummingbirds are like that anyway. But so to bring it back to the human side of things, certainly there are people where the maximum amount of alcohol they can drink is 0. they have a problem with the consumption of alcohol. And if they drink more than 0, they will drink big gobs more than 0. And then they have really deleterious effects on their health. For most of us, I'll go back to a joke from Johnny Carson. Dude walks into the doctor. He says, "Doctor, I want to live to be 100 years old." And the doc says, "Wow. Do you smoke cigarettes?" "No." "Do you drink whiskey?" "Well, no." "Do you chase wild women?" "No." Well, then why do you want to live to be 100 years old? It's part of the enjoyment of life, the moderate consumption of alcoholic beverages. It takes.
See, I should have been like, I could have been the guy that punches up Johnny Carson's jokes. I would have said, "Do you do all these things?" He says, "Nope." And then I go, "Well, you better start because you're not living to be 100.
Anyway,
There you go. Jeff Solomon telling Johnny Carson.
Yeah, you're telling Johnny
Exactly,
Carson how to do
Johnny.
his job. Right. Well, and Johnny Carson died early because he smoked a shit ton of cigarettes. Is it bad for me to drink 8 beers a week?
Oh, I thought you were going to say a day.
No, I don't. You know I don't.
Yeah.
There's days I drink 4 and then I won't have another one. This is my first. That's not true. I had one yesterday before I left the brewery. We closed all up. But this is my second beer on the show. I haven't had a beer since Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the one I had last night. You just go through cycles. You have a couple of beers one day, you don't have another. It's just the way it goes.
I do have to say in the article I read, it said, it said, if you don't drink Thursday, that doesn't mean you can have 2 on Friday. So you don't get to stack them up. Again, this is all guideline.
You see the look on my face, right?
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. I'm banking them up. If I go a week without a beer and I want to drink a 6-pack, I'm doing it.
You do you, John.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. I agree with what you both are saying. Jeff, I do agree. You kind of got to know your own body. Some people.
And that's the thing. I don't want to steal your thunder there, Eccles, but I grabbed 2 Voodoo Rangers. They're 7% alcohol. I grabbed 2. I know exactly what I'm going to feel like after I drink 2 7% 12-ounce beers. I know exactly what I'm going to feel like. I know exactly what I'm going to feel like tomorrow when I got to go to work and clean up from today's brew day. It's knowing your body. So back to you, Eccles.
Well, I'm going to cut you off because speaking of feelings, our friend Chelsea in the chat, because she's watching live at welikeDrinking.com/show, as you ought to do every Wednesday, she put a quote in there. "I feel bad for people who don't drink. When they wake up in the morning, that's the best they're going to feel all day."
That's right.
Frank Sinatra.
I love it.
What's the other one I saw? Dean Martin.
I think that's most of Dean Martin's quotes, aren't they?
Something about life is lived through experience, and experiences made by bad decisions, or something like that. Experience comes from bad decisions.
Oh.
What is the Dean Martin one? It's not slurring. It's talking in cursive. So I think thanks for the question, Ryan. I think we all agree. Government needs to stop telling me what I should and shouldn't do.
Hey, man.
Including wearing a mask.
Well,
wear your fucking mask.
Wear a mask.
I wear my mask.
Thanks for that question, Ryan. Maybe show up and watch the show sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, burn.
Oh.
But let's move from the Q&A to the T&A with. No, that's not it. Boo, snooze. When I'm on my third glass of wine, things get a little bit hairy.
I thought you didn't even like it.
I don't, so I got to drink it fast.
See, when you get it down to here, it starts to taste good.
No,
You just gotta get past from here to here.
you go past the tasters. You just zoom past the tasting bumps, and that way it's all fine. We discuss interesting, noteworthy, or sometimes some pretty stupid things. Jeffrey M. He sent us this on Twitter, got like a month ago, but there's no way I wanted to talk about this with any of the highly esteemed guests we've had on the show in the last month. From no joke, spoonuniversity.com/lifestyle. Why you should be adding salt to your glass of red wine.
Oh, that story. I thought we were going to talk about the beer that was named after pubic hairs, but all right.
No. And let me just say that this article, for as fun as it is, it peaked at the title. So it goes in and it basically talks about how you can smooth out your harsh red wines and balance them and make them taste fantastic by adding a pinch of salt to them. And then it gets into any sweet wine of your choice can be transferred into a smooth and savory option with a pinch of salt. And less of a hangover, because I know those sweet wines really get me with the headaches.
What? We're back to that again?
So apparently adding salt to a sweet wine somehow makes the sugars disappear, which is fantastic. And the article goes on and talks about how a winemaker told them to do it. They also recommend aerating your wine by putting your wine in a blender.
Stay Rad Wine Blog, episode number 3.
But all that being said about this article, I think my favorite part of the whole article is when he says, "I can't wait to try it out."
Come on, dude. Wait,
So
that's
absolutely no pre-writing of the article research on his own part.
This is investigative journalism at its best. This is the equivalent of your one friend on Facebook that posts pictures, not of the food that they cooked, but of the food that they saw on Pinterest, and they go, "I'm totally gonna do this too." It's like, no. That's not how it works. Do it and then show us.
Right.
That's the beauty of the Pinterest fail. And I think that's the beauty of the journalistic fail when you're doing a whole article about advice for wine connoisseurs that you've never actually taken your own. And it's really all, man, that'd be cool if I did. You've got to be shitting me. This guy gets paid to write for a magazine about spooning, about sleeping like this.
No. It's the Spooning College. It's Spoon University.
You go to a college. You don't need to go to a class. Hey, here's Spooning 101.
They have,
Yeah, but doesn't your arm fall asleep when you do that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm pitting out right now. So with one hand it's like this, and the other hand's like this, like you sleep on it.
But hold on. Because I mentioned the okay. I just have to read the last paragraph. I have to read the last paragraph because I'm not doing it true justice. The person who taught the person this also recommends aerating wine in a blender to make your cheap wine taste like classy shit. We already tried this one out, and loved it. So I can't wait to try adding a simple pinch of salt. Quick, get to the store and get that classic $2 chuck from Trader Joe's and add that pinch of salt. And maybe try out this new gadget to prevent wine-stained teeth with a hyperlink. Your mind will be blown.
Wait a minute. We're going back to stained teeth. That's like episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
No, but
hey.
they've got an affiliate link to it. So
Who wrote the article? Mike R. Antis.
he's got to pay his tuition to Spoon University somehow.
That's the
So-
wow.
Anyway, that was a long time to talk about that. I'm going to get it off my browser.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I got a full scholarship at Spoon University. For what? What'd you get the scholarship for? Affiliate links.
So I don't know. What do you guys think? If you got yourself a sweet wine or a very astringent wine, and he goes in the article to talk about, fuck, brah, chefs add salt to their food.
He
So
wrote "fuck, brah."
I'm paraphrasing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just from a purely technical standpoint, the amount of salt that you would add to a glass of wine wouldn't be a pinch. I mean, you're talking
Granules.
You're talking grains. You're talking 5 or 6, 7 grains. You got to count those out because that's what it would take to change the chemistry of a glass of wine is 5, 6, 7 grains of salt.
Maybe you add a pinch to the bottle and then twist it upside down so the salt gets all the way up to the top.
a pinch in the blender
And
on.
stick your thumb in the neck of the bottle and just shake it up. But that would aerate it too, wouldn't it? Make sure you clean out underneath your fingernails when you do that.
I lost all hope with this article when he said that when somehow adding the salt to a sweet wine would somehow prevent your hangover. I don't really know where.
Well, it would prevent the hangover because you probably wouldn't finish the glass. So, okay, I want to give some credence to this though.
Okay, all right.
Wine is a food product.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And if you have a wine that is overly sweet, I would not imagine that a little, let's not call it a pinch, just a little scrape of salt. I would imagine that it actually might improve the flavor a little bit. That being said, you really have to like test it out. Like I would honestly be going like a granule at a time. I would be kind of like tasting along the way. I'd imagine it could help. I could see how, you can really like liven up something that's bland. I talk a lot about how, I love like a really crisp white wine with a little salinity in there. And like, honestly, like, I think they were talking about like red wines and sweet wines there, but honestly, I could see like just like a really like cheap, like, sure, a Trader Joe's Pinot Grigio, and you're like, it's missing something. I could see, like, look, you don't even have to add any salt. Just stick your pinky in there for a couple of seconds and swirl it around, and it'll probably taste better.
Yeah.
And I think that there is something that's there, but it's not. What is it? It's putting lipstick on a pig,
Absolutely.
right? It's using a filter to make your shit sandwich look good.
Mhm.
Like you're still eating a shit sandwich.
Mhm.
You made that. You literally like used a butter knife to spread shit over a piece of bread. Maybe it's really good bread. It's like a nice like. It's a fucking fresh ciabatta, but you still put shit on it. So I guess what I'm saying is like, if you think that that's going to help, you could just buy better wine.
Yeah. that really, I think, is the bottom line. Like, I imagine you're right. Like, this could be a little bit of a thing that might help out something. In all honesty, if the wine's that bad, do you really need, like, just get a different glass of wine? Like,
I'm sorry. Lori just dropped something in the chat that I have to share because it's fully like in the same realm. She goes, she and the husband were doing some tasting in Napa when they were younger. Winemaker takes the glass from her, puts his hand over the top of the glass, shakes it really hard 5 times, gives it back to her and says, "Look, it tastes like it's 5 years older now."
I was at there is a wine school in Denver, and I was at one of their classes one time, and I cannot remember the reason, but it was if you had a wine and you're sitting there smelling it and you aerate it, or you swirl it a little bit and you're still not getting any aromas out of it, do that. Put your hand over it and shake it up a bunch, and then take your hand off and smell it, and you'll probably be able to get the aromas. Then he said, now dump that shit out and get your another glass because you've just ruined that glass.
Well, wasn't there a thing like somebody's like, put a penny in the wine, it'll taste better than like that's
I think that's put the penny under your tongue and you'll pass the breathalyzer, Jeff.
Hey, by the way, you're at a if you're not sure if you're ever at a dive bar, when you're walking towards the exit, if you see like one of those little gumball machines that says 25 cents, take this and you'll pass a breathalyzer test, you're in a dive bar then. That's when you know.
Or if you look behind the bar and there's pickled pig's feet or pickled eggs, that's another good sign.
And the jar is opened, like it looks like people have bought it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not just there for display.
Holy Christ, the episode what is when we come off being professional for too long. All right. What
if you're at a bar and you ask them what IPAs are on tap and they look at you funny and they say, "Hey man, you got to go to the restroom over there if you want to pee," then you're in a dive bar. I don't know. Try it. Is pee?
That was a reach.
Pee? Because
yeah. Don't make me tell you my John Wayne joke.
All right. I don't know. John, how quickly do you think we can get
bartender, what's this fly doing in my glass?
The backstroke.
Looks like the backstroke.
Oh my God. John.
So anyway, just real quick, if you want to make Budweiser the state beer of Utah, go ahead. I mean, yeah, whatever.
More context to what you just said.
So anyway, Budweiser had a big campaign. They had the celebration when Utah relaxed their 3-2 regulations for last year sometime. And they had a whole funeral procession for 3-2 beer and all that other stuff. So I guess Budweiser is coming out with some sort of commemorative can celebrating Utah. And they've got this campaign about becoming Utah's official state beer. Nothing that's actually registered in Salt Lake City, but they just want to be the official beer of Utah. So, I mean, AB, aim high. It's kind of like being the state orange of New York. It's
Utah, you're better than this. Just
Squatters Double IPA ought to be the state beer of Utah.
Yeah.
If I had a brewery in Utah, there would be a beer that said something like, I don't want a tar. Utah.
Boo hiss.
All right.
Idaho. Idaho.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Iowa.
If we're talking
Iowa.
about things to find in dive bars, Idaho and Utah's state beer, for God's sake, it must be.
Last call.
Last call.
Time to clean house and maybe just close the show down. I don't know. This may be it. But if it's not it, time to give us some help. John Ruyak, if the folks want to follow us on the social media platforms, where should they do so?
They should do that at Twitter. And that's We Like Drinking 1, the numeral 1. And you can follow us on Instagram. We Like Drinking. And then you could go to the Facebook Tavern page, welikeDrinking.com/tavern. Really, it's where the cool kids hang out. You just have to pay us a donut and then you can sit at our table. The payment for the donut's just like asking to be on it, and we say yes, you can be in.
And you poke it, apparently.
Yeah, I poke the accept button. I say yeah.
We love the tavern, and I do have to say, thank you to everybody that has been posting a lot in there. It's for a long time it was just Jeff, John, and myself, and let's be honest, it was me posting a lot in there, but it's really been a lot of people have been posting a lot of stuff. John has been really active lately.
Rhett is on fire.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot more stuff from a lot of different people, and it really makes the tavern even more fun than it was. Maybe pickled pig's feet for everybody. Jeff, you look confused.
No, I was just gonna say, and also like shout out to Valerie, not Valerie Caruso, Valerie Quascut from San Jose, who's been putting a lot of stuff in the tavern recently. So keep that shit going.
Keep it coming.
She's a frontline nurse, and she's got 2 kids, social distance learning, like killing it, Val. And she's a hockey mom, killing it.
She wins life.
I mean, hockey's a fucking dumb sport, but it's still difficult.
Hey, Eccles, we need to find a different third person.
Yeah, we got to talk about who's included in this panel. Jeff Solomon, if the folks have some thoughts on the show and want to express those thoughts, where can they?
Besides anti-hockey thoughts.
Oh my goodness!
We do have a lot of Canadians that listen to our show.
Hey, dude, just because someone's Canadian doesn't mean they like hockey.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Just because someone's Canadian, it doesn't mean they speak French and English. So, those of you listening to the podcast, bless you. However, if you have not yet left a review in the podcast app that you're listening to us from, fuck you. But there is one way that you can go from hashtag fuck to hashtag blessed. And to do that is to find those empty 5 stars in your podcast app, fill that stuff up, and leave a comment letting us know why hockey is a dumbass sport. And by the way, those of you watching on YouTube, mash the like and subscribe button. It's easier to remember if you hit the bell.
Bing! Good job, Jeff. And, if you've done all that and you're looking to do more, become an Uber subscriber, become an Uber helper of the show, become a patron. Chelsea's a patron. We have several people watching right now that are patrons of the show, and we love each and every one. Kristen, Cody, you guys are all patrons.
They're just checking on their investment.
If you want us to do an in-depth
tonight,
if you want us to do an in-depth review of Russian River Brewing next week, become a patron.
Wink, 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 nudge, nudge. Jeff Solomon needs your help. He needs your vote for. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give your pitch for Russian River Brewing for next week, Jeff Solomon.
Well, I bought a mixed case of Russian River Brewing in anticipation of us doing a show on Russian River Brewing next week, and I need to make sure that happens. Don't you fucking go in there out of spite, Cody, and change my vote. We're going to do Russian River Brewing next week, but I need our patrons to step up. And look, if you're not a patron and next week we do a review of a different brewery that sucks, well, it's your fault, dude. You can't
nobody on that list sucks.
No,
I'm just saying, man, you can't complain if you didn't vote. And you can't vote like in a true democracy. You can't vote unless you pay us for the right to vote.
I thought our podcast was a representative republic.
I'm voting for Oscar Blues because that's what I have the most choice of here in Colorado. I can get all the different flavors of Oscar Blues. Like Russian River, I can only get like one, and maybe if I'm lucky. You may have to send me some, Jeff.
That's all right. I got a bunch of weird ones. I'm just saying, I got some really cool weird Russian River brews. So just throwing that out there.
What else do we got in there? What is it? Boulevard? Fuck that one.
Fuck them, man.
Yeah, that's still gonna win now. Cody's gonna launch a campaign. So yeah, visit welikechunky.com/pledge to find out how you can join in on that, how you can get some stickers, get a t-shirt. Get a t-shirt like Stubb rocks his t-shirt all the time. That's all the dude wears. He's either naked in his pool or he's wearing the We Like Drinking Tavern t-shirt.
You know, there was a teacher that went viral this week because he sat down for a Zoom session with his kids without his shirt on. And I was just thinking, like, you know, Stubb gets in Zoom sessions without his shirt on all the time. How come he's not in trouble?
Because he's not teaching our youth, possibly.
A lot of kids listen to the One Bourbon, One Shard, or One Beer podcast.
That's just good parenting right there. You can also find the show notes for this episode on the links to the programs we have at welikedrinking.com/episodes. It's the time of the show now where I get to say, okay, panel, let's take one last trip around this table and get some final thoughts before we burn the place to the ground. John Ruyak.
I have a lot of final thoughts.
Just give us one.
You know, when you're washing beer glasses, somehow Sly Like a G6 sounds like slide in the cheese stick. It's just, you know, it's inexplicable. And when you're washing beer glasses and your server comes in and she's singing, why are you singing about cheese sticks? You know, it's one of those things.
Chicken in the bread pat, picking out dough. Jeff Solomon.
Feeling fly like a G6, motherfucker. I was like, that's the way back machine when you talk about the Far East movement. But okay, I got to go back and listen to that song again. I loved that song when it came out. Feeling so fly like a G6.
Slide like a cheese stick.
Same difference. Okay, stop the music. I'm not going to sing, but I have some advice that is worth focusing on and paying attention to, because I feel like we've got like the right demographic of listeners. I know that we have some folks that are getting of that age where they're probably starting to settle down and get married. And I just wanted to remind folks that when you get married, you can write down whatever you want for your name from that point on, and it's probably going to get approved. So regardless of what your name was in the future, I just want you to consider this, right? You should change your last name to Hadadoc. Hadadoc. You got to change your last name to Hadadoc. I've got a plan for the future, right? And so with the all the money that's pouring in, if you do your wedding right, the gifts that you get in should be worth more than what the wedding cost you if you're doing it right. And with all that money that you're going to be bathing in now, I want you to buy a big old property, like a big complex, an estate for your family to have forever, to pass down from generation to generation to generation. Because your children are going to have children, and you're going to say unto them, you are going to inherit this entire estate as long as you name your first child Bingo, and Bingo shall be bequeathed this entire estate. And so, of course, your children are going to say, why, yes, mother. Why, yes, father. Of course, we will do this. And look, just because you have this big estate, you know, your kids are going to do different things throughout their lives, but you're going to be like building this living museum on your property, your Haddock property. And then I'm talking about generations upon generations in the future. There are going to be anthropologists and archaeologists that stumble across this particular estate, and they find all the evidence of the Haddock family, and somebody has this like master's thesis, this doctoral statement where they talk about the lineage of the Haddock family that started with you. And one of these archaeologists is going to be talking to another archaeologist about, look, this Haddock right here was a lawyer, and this Haddock right here was a farmer. And the other archaeologist says, there was a farmer Haddock, and the guy goes, yeah, and Bingo was his name. There was a farmer Haddock, and then Bingo was his name. And then the other one goes, oh, bring the music back.
I saw that 5 minutes ago, and I had to live through it.
It's so bad.
I wrote that all.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Well, you wrote like 8 words and it turned into that. Let's be honest. Folks, you may have
I
heard,
drew a whole family tree right here. Just
you may have heard at the very beginning of the show, our good friend, 2-time guest, Christy Norman, introducing the show. We want to throw a big shout out to her. This week, she was named to the Wine Enthusiasts 40 under 40 in the, it's not no longer the wine world, it's the wine
taste makers.
Taste makers, that's what it is. So we had the brewer from Weathered Soul was on there. But Christy Norman, congratulations on being one of the youngest, by the way, 40 under 40. We know we can expect fantastic things from you, so congratulations on that. And with that, I'll say thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast,
where you never drink alone.
Yeah, we're going for 60 under 60, and it's kind of like still gutted for curling in the Olympics.
Holy fuck, the last 20 minutes of that episode.
Chelsea goes, I know where this joke is going, and it's already way too long.
Yeah. Thank you, Chelsea.
Oh,
We never learn.
Hey, Lori, are you
safe?
Are you safe? But I was also just thinking about are you in California right now? But are you distance teaching to New Jersey from California? Because that'd be like the coolest thing ever.
I thought she was a phys ed teacher.
Oh, they're still doing distance learning, dude.
That's interesting. Calisthenics.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Take a video of you doing some jumping jacks. Get the Nike Plus app and go for a run. Yeah.
I don't know if she's still watching. Some people GTFO'd.
Was it the joke? It couldn't have been.
It
Yeah, in
It had to
California.
It had to be.
I hope you are that you're safe right now. School hasn't decided yet. School year hasn't started yet because it's Jersey. It's old school. You guys wait till after Labor Day, huh?
That's right.
Wow.
Because that's the way we've always done it.
Damn. We were supposed to start this week, but we're starting next week.
Ah.
Yeah. I certainly exceeded my daily allowed number of drinks. All right. YouTubers. Oh, thank you, dude. Like, thank you all so much for joining up each and every week. I love reading through the chat when it's all done. Texas delayed until September 8th.
Wow.
Are they doing, is that delayed till September 8th and then they go back to class? Like, we start next week, but it's all online. It's this fucking synchronous learning where they have to go to class, but online until September 14th. Right now.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Solomon. But,
Yeah.
And this is secondhand stuff. You know, my buddy Bill, the guy we were talking about beforehand, the show, who doesn't get bit by mosquitoes.
Oh yeah.
Lucky bastard. So he takes
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, he takes a new job.
We're still on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah.
Son of a
That's
bitch.
cool. No,
Okay.
I'm not. This is nothing weird about this at all. It just a question. So he goes to this new school district, and he's trying to buy a house down there. It's impossible. Just houses are going in like 2 or 3 days in New Mexico right now. So he's rented a room in a bed and breakfast with a kitchen and stuff, so he can have somewhere to live. Anyway, so he's distance learning with his students with one other teacher in a classroom, and they've been teaching for about 4 or 5 days. I think it was 5 days. And finally, a lot of the teachers just got really kind of burned out because of the change in modality. They got to Thursday last week, and the principal just said, give your kids an assignment. We'll meet you back next Monday. And it's just the difference in modality. I mean, when you're standing in front of a class, you go through motions. It's almost like muscle memory, right? You've delivered this material, 10, 15 times now, right? And it's not a matter of sincerity. It's just a matter of the way your work works, and then you change it, and you're changing your mental acuity about the whole deal, and it's very exhausting.
Oh, it is. It's a different thing, and I think any of my teacher friends would really understand this. The first, I want to say, 3 years of teaching are insanely difficult because it's like you think what teaching is like until you are standing up and doing it. And even though you've been in classrooms your entire life up until then, it's just different. And so when a change like this comes in, everybody's starting from scratch, and you feel like it's your first year teaching again. But I want to say this in all sincerity. And this is why I think it's important for people to really tap into what they're passionate about. I'm not joking when I say this. Starting a wine blog in 2011 prepped me for this moment right now. Because, I was typing a lot of stuff, but I was like, you have to kind of when you have a blog, you have to put yourself on this learning edge of technology. Like that's part of it, and you have to kind of like adapt to changes there that you never really like thought about before. But then also you're putting yourself out there in a different way. And early on, my blog kind of evolved from a written blog to mostly a video blog, where I was talking to my computer with nobody else for like 10 to 20 minutes at a time. Right. And even though I say all the time and like all the time and everything like that, I got used to being comfortable with my own voice without really needing any particular like feedback in the moment, which is different from when you're in a classroom. That feedback is instant and it's nonverbal. You can just feel it, right? And you have to be a lot more aware of your own words as they're coming out of your mouth when you're doing it on Zoom, because that's really a lot of what you have, and it's a lot of your preparation going into it. Going even further into it, all of that led me to this podcast right here, and I will tell you what, the organizational skills that go into this clusterfuck of a podcast really have kind of like set the table for me. Like, as difficult as it is, I don't think I'm struggling as much as how some teachers are right now, and certainly they should be. And I'm not saying like, look, the key to life is get on a podcast, I know, a 2-time award-winning podcast. But
That's
what I am saying is
totally the key to life.
Yeah. And also I just want to give a shout out to Eccles, because now I'm doing a lot more of like being the director and the producer. Like while it's happening, it's like I'm clicking other buttons while I'm talking, and it's fucking, that's tough. When I'm like, fuck, let me mute this guy, boink. Like,
Yeah, it's some controlled chaos, that's for sure.
yeah. But it's different. I've heard stories of people going on, saying already like they're going on a 3-month leave, and I understand it. This is not what any of us went into teaching for, but it's but we're gonna be okay. I also am not looking at this as like the most like, man, if these kids aren't learning the exact same amount of stuff in the exact same way that they normally would be, then our society is fucked. Well, no.
Some kids are doing better.
Some kids are doing better. And the other thing is like, I'm sorry, I don't like what I am teaching is important in the grand scheme of things, but what people are learning about life, about humanity, about resources through things like this. Like one of the biggest lessons I ever learned was 5:04 p.m. On October 17th of 1989, when there was a 7.0 earthquake in the Bay Area. And I was in 5th grade when that happened. And the lessons that I learned through those 2 weeks that we didn't have power, and like I was living in the mountains, and like most of the roads were closed, and we didn't have school. Like we learned as a community how to rebuild and to look out for each other. And it's like, those things matter more than how quickly I could name off the capital to all 50 states. Yeah, which I still can't do. You might stump me with a few.
Yeah, and I'll probably piss a lot of people off with some. If we'll see how far I go with it.
Man, if you're watching to this point and then you get pissed off and you take off, fuck you. We didn't want you here anyways.
But that's a good point, Jeff. I think a lot of the people that have lost their minds over this whole mask thing and everything else, they may be a lot of people that have never had to deal with any kind of real fucking adversity in their life, like a natural disaster kind of thing, where you quickly realize how much, it takes a village, how much we're all interconnected, and how our choices make differences in other people's lives. And, it's this whole school time right now. I know, John, and
No. I was just thinking back to, I lived in Buffalo, New York. We had week-long snow events. We had ice storms that destroyed my neighborhood.
And it quickly becomes your neighborhood. Like, it quickly becomes like the 5 houses around you become your village. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, our house, like ice, we had a huge blizzard of 77, and my dad was stuck at the steel plant for a week. And then the next year we had the ice storm, and our house was the first house. We had 3 maple trees in the front yard, and a sugar maple, a Norway, and a silver. And the sugar maple, they're super brittle. Boop, there goes the wires. Lady across the street, the ruse. Husband's a doctor. 10 kids.
Good Lord.
They had us over for dinner, and we learned when you eat at the ruse house when there's 10 kids sitting around a table, and they put all the food in the middle. You can't be shy about going for it, or you're going hungry, right? I mean, but it's just shit like that, right? And then going around the neighborhood and shoveling driveways for the old ladies that couldn't get out.
Yep. I remember that.
That's what you did.
Yep. But we look at this chaos that is us going back to school right now, and you look around the world, you look at the rest of the world, they're all going back to school. You know why? Because they took this shit serious in February, March, and April, and May and June. And we didn't. Or we did, half of us did and half of us didn't. And we bitched about having to be inconvenienced, and this is where fucking Wuhan had a huge fucking pool party this week.
Is that not the biggest, like, fuck you guys?
Pretty much. Yeah. we haven't had a case since May, bitches.
Oh man.
Yeah, so stay safe out there, everybody. Like, wear a mask.
Yeah.
But
hey, but seriously, China as a government, can you quit fucking making all of your money off of slave labor? Can you maybe stop that, China as a government? Because your people deserve better. Yeah, that's right.
You know who deserves better?
What's that?
The dogs in North Korea.
Yeah, they really do. All right.
Better than the people of China, John.
There you go, Kristen. You joined the show and said, "What the fuck is this about?" And we're gonna end the show with you saying, "What the fuck is this
about?" Night.
All right, YouTubers, we went way longer, and we went way off the fucking reservation.
Hey, YouTube, we love you, and yeah, I'll get some stuff out about a football league soon. I swear. Yeah,
and like y'all, all y'all that show up every week or every few weeks or whatever, we really appreciate it. We love seeing you all here. We read everything you guys write and laugh our asses off after the show, and we love you all. So peace out, bitchachos.
Peace.